Hello there. My name is Corey, and I am a Star War.
And my name is Corey, and I am also a Star War.
And my name is Jim, and I am a Star War.
And we
are a Star War.
Hey, everybody. It's been a while.
What's happening? They don't want to hear us sing.
We're going to do, today we're going to do The Empire Strikes Back.
We are.
Arguably the best of the Star War.
Episode 5.
Many will say it is the best.
Some would knight him.
I'm glad you said it. I was thinking it. They don't know what we're talking about, but there it is.
If you know who Subterrific Chuggalug was, then you would get that reference.
All 7 of you.
And also your back hurts.
Because you're old.
If you know
like we are.
Also, your back hurts. That is correct.
Oh.
So today, we're going to do that. We hope that you've enjoyed the last couple of episodes. Because as you're listening to this, those last couple of episodes have not been edited and released. I'll do those soon. So that's just making a little joke at my expense.
But for timeline's sake, they should know that we just found out that Trump got elected. By the time they hear this,
it's old news.
It could already be the downfall of the American society. Could have already crumbled.
Guys, somehow Palpatine returned.
Somehow he was reelected. But that's where we are. Yeah, so this is the...
Right. So we're working our way through the theatrical films
so
and
we've
our
done
feelings, right?
Our fifis. We've done the original trilogy, and we did Solo, and we did Rogue One.
No, we haven't done the original. We've done the prequel trilogy.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Prequel trilogy.
But we did A New Hope the last
trilogy.
time we got
the earlier trilogy.
The earlier ones.
So this would be, and we did New Hope. So this is the 7th installation of the definitive 3 buttholes guide to Star Wars.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's dive in. Part 1, facts and figures. I have done research. I am ready. This movie is called The Empire Strikes Back. But sometimes it's called Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I don't know when they decide what to call it. I think at some point they just decided to start putting the episode numbers in the beginning.
Was that after the prequels?
I think it was after Episode 1. This was released on May 6th, 1980. Do you want to guess the budget?
$45 million.
Corey?
30.5.
Wow.
$30 million to make this movie.
Flexing my fucking muscles.
Original release, it made like $400 million box office. After all the re-release and special edition ever, right now it's up to like $450 million worldwide. It was nominated for 4 Oscars. It won 2 of them.
Oh, wow.
It was nominated for Best Sound and Visual Effects, which it won. And it was nominated for Art Direction, which it lost, and Score. So John Williams lost.
To who?
1981. Who won Best Score?
Scarface.
I have no clue.
Fame. I'm gonna live forever. So, I get it. That's immortal,
Sure.
But yeah, this has been, like we said, some people, a lot of people, most people would call this the best of all the Star Wars
I think
movies.
we've called it that before.
Maybe.
It's certainly my favorite.
I mean, I'm still going to say Jedi is my favorite.
But this is the best movie.
But this might be the best one of all the movies.
I think we've had that discussion for sure.
Depending on, your rubric, whatever. That's the facts. What about your feelings? That's what we're talking about here. So
are we in our fifis?
We're in our Star Wars Empire fifis.
Wait, so like on facts, like how many planets and shit?
Oh, you want to know that? Yes.
Is that usually round 1?
I thought that was in
I think it is round 1. I got 4 planets that I counted. If you count the asteroid belt,
No.
then 3 planets.
That's a location. It's not a planet.
Okay. All right. I'll buy that. There's only 3 planets.
So there's Hoth.
We start on Hoth.
Dagobah.
Luke goes to Dagobah, and then we go to Bespin,
which
is a gas planet. We go to Bespin, which is a cloud city above.
I too am a gas planet.
Yes, you are.
Jimmy made a fart joke.
Yes, you are. What other facts do I usually? It's the only thing I've got. I mean, I didn't write down like how many minutes it was and whatever.
Yeah.
Oscars, planets, videos. I think that's it. And this one's got quite a bit. This one's got...
No, wait, feelings. We did. Okay, what do you love about this movie? All that stuff is still part one.
Yeah, what do you love? What do you hate?
Well, yeah, what do you love? So what do you love about this movie?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett.
This is one of the reasons that I don't like the re-releases or whatever. This should be the first time we see Boba Fett. They stuck him into...
That's right. They stuck him in A New Hope on the re-release.
He just kind of looks at the camera and walks by, and it's bullshit.
And it's weird because he winks.
He's like...
And he's got his helmet on.
You don't even know he
They still
winks.
put in the
Like a
ding.
Jim from The Office.
Yeah. Yeah, unnecessary.
I'll tell you the thing that I like this morning. I watched it this morning for the first time in a while. I really like Puppet Yoda.
Puppet Yoda's
I thought
pretty
the
good.
same thing this morning. I was like, that doesn't feel like a puppet to me. Like in the later movies when they CGI him and whatever, like you can always tell that's not a real thing. But for some reason, maybe because the first time I saw it, I was 6. But like that Yoda, I'm like, he's just real and he makes facial expressions and he's like believable as a
I've been in
creature.
very much in a Muppet mood since the Jim Henson documentary came out earlier this year. And then it was like it was the 45th anniversary of the Muppet movie. So that was in theater for like a Fandango event. I went to see that. So
Was it Henson Studio that worked on
Frank
Yoda?
Oz was the voice of Yoda and like puppeteered.
And he also puppeteered it?
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
I could be wrong about that. I know he voices
I know he
Yoda.
voiced
I'm
it,
fairly
yeah.
certain he does the puppetry, or at least
think he
part.
did.
Yep, obviously, Yoda had a lot of people working on Yoda, but still. There were just little things like today watching him dig through Luke's little storage unit and throwing shit over. I'm like, how the fuck did they do some of this? And I really enjoyed Chewbacca today too. There were little things about Chewbacca that I just like never paid attention to before because he was like a secondary character, but like he gets real up in his fifis when they lock the door when Han's out, and like he had certain other mannerisms throughout the whole thing where I'm like, Chewie was one of the real MVPs of this fucking movie.
I also
would
noticed this movie was more Han than it was Luke.
Yep.
Like maybe that's been obvious to everybody, but I just noticed that today for the first time. I was like,
so
Han
you guys
saves
rewatched
Luke,
it? I
and then
haven't watched it.
It's like the Han story because Lucas just goes on Dagobah, so he's like
They split up the team.
he's like the B story, and it's Han and Leia and Chewie and 3PO on the Falcon, trying to escape. Like that's most of the movie, and it's like all Han, but pretty cool.
The growing tensions between Han and Leia.
Yeah,
Romantic.
I started to, but didn't write down a list of all the different insults that are thrown in this movie because it's freaking hilarious. Like Nerf herder, obviously we all remember, but
That's
it's
a
like
famous one.
scruffy looking and all like scoundrel. So many things.
He called her Your Highnessness, and I
And
never.
your worshipfulness. I love that one.
I don't know if I'd ever noticed Your Highnessness, but I chuckled today at that one. That was good.
What else? What else do we love?
So what else does this movie have that the other ones don't have? I mean,
This movie has also what is often referred to as the biggest twist in cinematic history. I am your father.
Luke, I am your father.
That's a big deal. That's the thing they didn't even say.
Going into
Well, they didn't even like say it on set that day
right.
because I think whoever was under the helmet said a different line. He said, Obi-Wan killed your father.
Killed your father.
Yeah. So everybody on set was like, oh, crazy. And then they didn't know until they actually like saw it in the theater.
But didn't Lucas tell Mark Hamill?
I think he did. I think
Mark Hamill knew,
Yeah.
even though Prowse said the other line. Mark Hamill knew what he was reacting to.
Yeah, that's true.
I love some of the shots in the end. Like I was looking at some of the set pieces, and I was like, "Well, these are weird looking set pieces. Like, what's the functionality of this on the Death Star?" But then I'm like, "Oh, it looks cool on video." Like, you know, Luke's walking through this weird fucking short tunnel from one room to another. I'm like, "That's a weird." He's like walking in a fucking tube.
Yeah.
But it looks cool because the lights are cool. And then like he walks in the room and Vader's just up on top of these fucking stairs with these orange lights in the stairs. I'm like, what are they doing? There's just smoke everywhere.
You know, and so that scene,
but it's cool as shit.
Yeah.
But then that's the scene where Luke is, rushed off to face Vader without proper training against Yoda's wishes, right? To save his friends. And Yoda's like, nah, you can't do it. And Luke's like, I got to try. And Yoda's like, remember what I said earlier about trying? And Luke had been like trained by Yoda for 6 days.
Yep.
And goes to face Vader.
Yep.
But we got mad when Rey could like wield a lightsaber in The Force Awakens. Like Star Wars is full of that. It needs to do the thing when it does the thing. And Luke got his ass handed to him.
The part of me that was watching it today, I watched that and I was like, now he could just lop him in two right now if he wanted to.
Right.
But obviously he's like, you're my son. I'm just going to slap you around for a minute while I talk to you.
Throw some books at you.
He's like, okay, I'll cut your hand off because you're bad.
Right.
Because you're not listening. But yeah.
Bitch, I lost a hand.
You'll be fine.
You can't have one neither.
You'll be fine.
Was that it for the round one?
No. What do you hate about this movie?
No.
Is this when you want to drop your hot take?
Is this hot take? Can I put a hot take in here? I have a hot take.
We've been waiting. He's tried to tell us this hot take like 3 times. And we're like, no, we're not recording yet.
Yeah, in the room, it's built up too much.
So there's a couple questions.
To you, it's good.
There's a couple questions after this one as well in round one.
So the answer, the question is, what do we hate about this movie?
Yeah.
So you got a big one. Let me go first. Nothing.
Not a thing.
Now it's your turn.
Today, it occurred to me, you have your big moment, chops his hand off, I'm your father, yada, yada. It should end pretty soon after that. But today I was like, all right, get to the directed by. What do we keep doing? It's like, now we got to go back and get him. Like, we know you went back to get him. We got to go and catch him. Oh, no, now there's like 3 TIE fighters we got to fight. Okay, we fought them off. Cool. All right, we got to fix the hyperdrive because they messed it up. Oh, okay, we got it. And they were going to tractor beam us, but now and it's like there's all this stuff going on. And I'm like, the important stuff has happened. Why are we like trying to fight? And they spend a little bit of time like setting up the next movie where they're like, oh, we got to go do this. We got to go do this. And it's like, I don't want any of that. So I feel like it could ended like 10 minutes earlier than it did. That's my hot take.
I did kind of. I didn't internalize those thoughts like you did.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's hanging there, like outside the fucking thing, I'm like, they just like, oh wait, we see him.
Yeah.
Let's go get him.
All right. So cut back to the movie theater. When did this come out?
1980.
1980 is 1980. Right. And Luke has been trained by Yoda, and Han has been frozen. C-3PO has been blowed up. And then Luke faces Vader against Yoda's advice and gets his hand cut off.
Yeah.
Directed by Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah.
Do you know how fucking pissed off people would have been?
Yeah.
If that was the end of the movie? That's not the end of the movie. You can't end a Star Wars like that. They didn't even do that in Revenge of the Sith, which is by far the most downer of all the Star Wars movies. You know, you got to give the audience a little bit of a landing.
A little pep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Star Wars, not 7.
Well, I mean, we give this movie credit for being like the downer ending. We give it it's in the middle, so it's sadder and it's blah blah blah. So
the stakes are higher on
they
this
could have
one.
made it sadder. They could have made it a little more Infinity War. Just let the bad guys win for a minute, and let the audience stew for 3 years, waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
That's pretty
The
hot
hottest
take.
of hot takes. It's so hot.
It's not very hot.
So the next one is, where does this rank among all Star Wars movies?
How about for you? What do you think?
Well, we've had this one before. It's the best movie, but it's not my favorite.
I would agree with that.
So this is probably number 1, right?
I think it's the best movie. My favorite is Jedi, just because
Still,
that's
yeah.
the first that I saw
we all
in the
landed
theater.
on that.
Yeah.
For that
I think
reason.
We're all the same.
So,
So that's boring.
yeah.
Lame.
All right, I think there's one.
This is the sleeper episode. This is lame. Like Empire's good. Boba Fett was cool.
Everything's
Big
perfect.
question is, what does this movie have that the other Star Wars movies don't have?
I feel like we answered that, but also we didn't do a good job answering that, because I really can't think of something that this movie has that the other ones don't have. You know, it was the first, like it set the pattern, the whole idea of splitting up the team and having parallel adventures. You know, it was the first to have Yoda, but not the only. It was the first to do that spiritual, introspective mind cave thing that Luke does, but it's not the only one that did that. They did it in Last Jedi with Rey. What else? I mean, it's not even the only movie to have that really cool cybernetic android like helper to Lando, on Bespin, because he's in Jedi.
Yeah.
Hold on, we got 3 dogs outside that are real big mad because they want to come inside.
They have a lot of opinions about this movie.
It's not even the only Star Wars movie to have somebody fall down a shaft. It's not the only Star Wars movie to have somebody get a hand cut off.
Dude, I started to write a list of all the bottomless shafts that appear in this series.
It's like he falls when he's had the whole conversation with Vader. He's like, I'm just gonna fall.
Yeah.
And he falls into this fucking hole.
Yeah.
And he slides down this water slide like he's at Funland in 1986.
Like it's Goonies.
And then that one stops and a hole opens and he falls down
into another one.
Real convenient.
It's like he's being fleshed out of Bespin.
It's like when those pirates carved out those caves in Goonies and carved them into a water slide.
Hold on now. We all know that pirates love slides. Pirates
true.
live for slides.
And Han is a space pirate.
That is true.
There it is.
Kind of.
Goonie. Oh, wait. Skeleton Crew. There it is.
Oh my God. We figured it all out.
We still haven't answered the question. Is there anything in Empire that the other films don't have?
I was going to say incest, but there's a little bit in the first
There's a
one.
little touch of that in New Hope.
I can't think of anything.
She kisses Luke when he gets brought back in from the snow, just to make Han jealous.
Right?
Then she kisses Han on the asteroid.
Right?
And then she kisses Han for real when she says, I love you, and he says, I know.
Right.
Then they kiss real hard. And then she picks up Luke, who now has only one hand, and he's like laying in the bed on the Falcon, and she like kisses him again. Just a little.
But that's just a little kiss. It's just like,
That was like a little goodbye
I hope
kiss.
you're doing all right. Just like, be safe. Safe travels.
But she doesn't know that's her brother. She's just like, I'm going to kiss this dude because his hand hurts. So I'm going to give him a kiss on his mouth. Even though my boyfriend just got frozen in carbonite.
Well, I mean, he's not coming back. You got to play the odds.
That is true. Maybe she was like, we're not getting Han back.
We've seen the last of him. I don't know. We still haven't answered it. Is there anything? The other movies have Super Star Destroyers. This one had a Super Star Destroyer, right?
Oh, here's something. Here's a tangent for you. So
Go.
we see Vader's super Star Destroyer, like, which is like 10 times bigger than a Star Destroyer. Well, why?
I'm going to go ahead and invoke the Spinal Tap reasoning.
Because
It goes to 11.
Like, I already wondered, like, why does a Star Destroyer really is just like a bunch of guns? It's like a battleship.
Yep.
But in space, it doesn't need to be that big. You don't need to have 100,000 crew. But it looks like Vader was like, well, those are cool. I want to build my own ship, but I want 1 million people to live on it.
But also remember,
That's a cool chick.
There's gonna that's like Spaceball stuff. Like that ship has got a zoo. It's got a mall.
it goes plaid.
It's got theaters and stuff. Yeah,
It goes ludicrous.
there's people that live and die and forever on that ship.
I think it's part of it is because they didn't have the Death Star.
Yeah.
So it's like
So
they
like, we need a big thing.
We need a big ship that's got a lot of armament and is hard to fight, impossible to fight, that can carry legions of TIE fighters and whatever it is. But, having a zoo and a nice home theater, and perhaps they even have a few IMAX theaters.
These puppies.
These are the dogs.
There was puppies for sure on that thing.
Right. We still haven't answered it.
I don't think we need to. Maybe there's nothing.
Is there nothing in this movie that is unique on its own from the others? Or have the others borrowed so heavily from this one that it makes the question unanswerable?
I mean, it's the first appearance we have of
But that's not the
Yoda.
question.
It's
not the only time we see Dagobah. End of Revenge of the
he
Sith.
goes back, yeah.
What does he say?
He goes back into Jedi, too.
Into hiding?
I mean, he goes back and we see Yoda die in the next movie.
Oh, that's right. So this was the first movie that hinted at Leia being force sensitive, or at the minimum, there being another, which now, in hindsight, with the Clone Wars and Order 66 and Kanan Jarrus and all the other fucking Jedi that exist after Order 66, when Yoda says, no, there is another. There's like 700
Yeah, there's
other.
1,000 others. What's he
There's
talking about?
like, yeah.
Hey, they didn't have Facebook back then.
Thank God.
They didn't know.
The Wi-Fi on Dagobah is spotty.
All right, next question.
I think we're into round 2.
All right.
Do you have
That's
those
the
ready
end of
for it?
round 1.
Part 2 is the Force Lightning round. What's the best scene of this movie?
We're not doing a commercial break.
We can.
We should. I have to pee.
Okay.
All right.
Break.
Break.
Here now a word from our sponsor.
BRB.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. If you're on Tatooine, get your hut down to Mos Espa Pod Race Circuit. We've got Sebulba, Young Skywalker, pit droids, non-stop action. Will pesky Tusken Raiders murder your favorite pod racer? Will a Jedi cheat you out of your favorite slave? You'll find out this and more on Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Pod race. Welcome back. Welcome back to.
Willkommen.
We are a Star Wars. We're
We
in
are.
round 2 of our episode dedicated entirely to The Empire
This
Strikes
is
Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
This
Force
is
lightning round?
Force Lightning round.
Look out. Force lightning.
Woo!
Give me the best scene of this movie. Let's hear some nominees for the best scene of this movie. So we've got snow speeders taking down AT-ATs.
Let's just start with the appearance of the AT-ATs. That's a pretty ominous scene. The first time you see the
they're
AT-ATs
from far
coming.
away.
Yeah.
How come AT-ATs are always far away at first?
Because
Why don't they just land where they need to shoot things? They're like, just drop them off 10 miles over there so they can dramatically walk to the place.
Yeah, it's psychological operations, right? It's about
Well, no, you should
people.
just put it right there and just start shooting.
I mean, they did that in The Last Jedi, the movie that you hate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were like, drop them off over here with the big gun that they have to drag, and then they have to drag it a mile so that we have a little time
Sure.
to fight back. Just put them
You
right there.
gotta get a plan together.
Right. Lord forbid you have the plan before you drop the ships.
People get choked for that kind of stuff. Dropping in the wrong place. So we got the appearance of the AT-ATs.
Yeah.
I was getting up to go get more coffee this morning, and the scene in Dagobah where
That's so disruptive.
the X-wing goes
We
under.
have two little Yorkies that are tussling right next to the microphones, apparently.
Yeah,
Apologies for that.
it's fine. They're puppies. They're cute. But when the X-wing goes in the swamp, and Luke's like, I can't do it, and Yoda's like, this is why you fail.
That is why you fail. Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is cold. Because I had to stand there and finish that scene before I could leave to go
Yoda does
to the kitchen.
some good talking in this movie.
Yeah.
The Vader in the cave scene should be up there. That's a good scene. That was incredibly well done.
Yeah, this motherfucker's like, well, to take your weapons, don't take your weapons, you won't need them. And Luke was like, looks at him and was like, let me go ahead and strap up.
Yeah. And he didn't know he had Dark Vader on the planet hiding in a cave with his face in the thing.
So let me ask you all this. Do you think the manifestation of Vader in the cave was coming from Yoda? Was it coming from Luke, or was it coming from the Force energy
It
on the
came
planet?
from Luke because he was like, "What do I take in there?
Or no, what will I find in
Yeah,
there?
what do I find in there?"
Only what you bring with you.
Yeah, so he brought that shit.
There you
That
go.
was his biggest fear.
But was it Luke's Force abilities that manifested Vader, the image of Vader, or was there something about the planet that itself was Force sensitive? Because they've established that in other shows and other stories that the Force can sometimes be in a rock-shaped moose.
Dagobah,
Your dog sounds like a tauntaun.
Yeah, my dog sounds like a tauntaun and Chewbacca at times. And
When he's-
she looks like Chewbacca.
when he's landing, he's like, there's no cities, no technology at all, but tons of life. So does that mean that there's like a lot of force on this planet?
Is it a vergence of
Because
the
there's
Force?
so much
Could
life. I don't know.
And also, giant planet full of life and swamps, landed right next to Yoda.
Right where it needs to
Nailed
go.
it.
Perfect.
Perfect landing.
Do you think that Yoda yanked him down?
Sure.
Must
I believe
have.
that.
Had to. There's no other reason for him to land in the right spot.
I mean, anything bigger than that would have been hell to try to build as a set.
Yup. And then, so we're still on best scene. We still don't know what the best scene is. We've got the
Luke facing off Vader's pretty
Luke
damn
faces
epic.
off Vader, but right before that, Han goes into kryptonite.
Carbonite.
Carbonite.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big
That's
scene.
a pretty good scene. It's a good movie. That's why this is the best Star Wars movie, even if it's not my favorite. It had so many firsts. Like this was, think about it. This was the first time that Lucas and all the technicians and the audience and everybody had an expectation for what a Star Wars could be. So they had the burden of delivering something more than A New Hope, which shattered everyone's expectations. And they did it without being a bigger, more bombastic movie.
Yeah.
They did it with character and stakes, and that's why it's a great movie.
That's true. They didn't say we need a bigger Death Star. That's the third movie.
Not yet.
No, that's the third movie. Any other contenders for best scene?
I don't know. I think that's about it. I mean, there's like the scene where we meet all the bounty hunters. They're all lined up.
I think if we
That's
keep going, we're just
interesting,
going
but
to
it's
say
not
the
bad.
whole movie, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah. I mean, there's the asteroid field chase. And when they go in the cave and the cave's alive.
It's the first time you see the TIE bombers. That was pretty cool. So what's the next question on the itinerary?
What's the best line of this movie?
I love you, I know. That's a classic.
It's hard to top that.
I know,
Or
Luke,
do
I
or
am
do
your
not.
father.
There's no try.
Do or do not, there is no try.
Luke, I am your father.
I am your father.
Luke, I love you, I know. Yeah, those are three great lines.
Yeah.
Scruffy looking Nerf herder. It's pretty good.
Han says, I'll see you in hell.
That's right.
I remember being a kid and just
Oh,
being like thinking how badass that was. I told like somebody that one time, and they were like, "Yeah," because you're a kid, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to repeat this line I saw from a movie." So I said something like, "I'll see you in hell," and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Han Solo said that shit was cold
I just wanted to
blooded."
build a bike ramp. What's wrong with you?
Corey, I just wanted to go play bikes. I'm going to hell now. I'm only 7.
I have my whole life ahead of me.
Yeah, there was so much that Yoda said in this movie. Adventure, excitement, a Jedi craves not these things. That's pretty good.
Silent Bob said that one time too.
Yep. If it gets Silent Bob to talk, then it's a good line.
That's
you
true.
know? Do not try. Do or do not. There is no try. That's pretty good.
Wasn't there a line where Yoda was like, could you pass me the Parmesan when he's making his little worm soup? Right?
Food,
And, like,
good food.
He's eating all of the nougat from Luke's meal kit. All the laminous bread.
No,
It's
the
like this-
nougat.
He's like just acting wacky and crazy, you know, when Luke gets there, and then
He's like 1,000 years old, was complicit apparently in most of the Jedi orders, like corrupt political agendas. Ugh, the acolyte. Anyway,
He's been sitting in a swamp by himself,
smelling his own farts and the planet's farts.
maybe two ghosts for 20 years.
So is
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are his best friends.
That's true.
And they're both dead.
and they're all three of them are kind of on not speaking terms because Qui-Gon was cheating at Pokino.
Yeah. And you're not going over there to play Pokino anymore.
Nope. Mm-hmm. So he's just skulking on the other side of the planet.
Side character.
Lando Calrissian.
It's hard to top Lando.
Lando's up there. Boba Fett's in here.
But Lando's much more of a character.
Yeah. That's true.
Chewie. I'll give a vote for Chewie as a side character.
I
Right?
think of Chewie as a side. He's like, that's the A team.
Yeah,
He's
you're
one of
right.
the
He's
four.
the A
Right.
team.
He's top 4.
You're right. Sorry to disrespect Chewie. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
If he's in Seinfeld, he's Kramer.
I meant no disrespect.
That's it. 40 lashes for you.
Best villain? We really only have Vader.
Vader.
I mean, we meet a lot of Imperials, but they all get choked. One after the other.
Nah,
There's
this
a
is Vader's
lot
movie.
of choke movie.
My man's gets choked through a screen.
Yeah. Across the galaxy. He's
That's
like, you
the
didn't do
worst-
that right.
That's the worst FaceTime call
Put
ever.
him on the phone. I'm going to kill him.
Like, actually, yes, actually kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. Which he doesn't do that in the first one. He chokes somebody like as a gag because they insulted him.
Because they got
And-
mouthy.
And they're like, little Vader, sit down and stop choking that man. And he does. Because in the first movie, he's not Lord Vader.
That's because the person who told him to sit down and stop choking that person was Grand Moff Tarkin, who arguably is more dangerous than Vader. Maybe not with the Force, but I mean, Grand Moff Tarkin was the second worst person in the entire galaxy.
It's true.
And he did it without being Force sensitive.
Hero. Best hero of this movie. I mean, this is Han's movie.
I think it's Han's movie, yeah.
I'm going to have to take a squeaky toy away from the dog. I'll be right back,
She did
guys.
find a squeaky toy.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's got to be Han.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Han. I mean, honestly, like Luke kind of screws up. He shouldn't have taken the bait.
Yeah.
Lost his hand. No,
Yoda tried to tell you, son.
he tried. He should have stayed there and got more reps in.
One thing that I did find funny today watching it, I'd never noticed it before. Luke's like, hey, stay away from that. That's my dinner. And it's this little, like, turd-looking thing.
That's the nougat.
And then he
And then
throws
he
it
just
away.
immediately fucking, he sits down to eat and he, like, sniffs it and he's just like, fuck it. And
He looks at
tosses
it.
on
I
the
feel like
tray.
he realizes that Yoda took a bite of it. So he's like, gross. And he throws it away. I just noticed that too. I was like, you just threw it away.
What do you think Yoda smelled
Let
like?
the little monster have it.
What do you think he smelled like? What did the inside of that hut smell like?
Like a dirty bird cage. Like a
Dirty turtle bowl.
a turtle
Smelled
ball.
like a dirty turtle bowl.
He smelled like every turtle you've ever held in your hand. Which
Yoda's
was
just
dirty.
covered in salmonella. He's just silly with
Smells
it.
like the
That's
tin-
why Luke threw away the nougat.
Smells like the Tennessee River.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. All right, next question.
What's next?
What's the best set or city or planet or location?
Again, man, that's tough.
Because I had a thing for Cloud City because it had those little cars.
Yeah.
And you could fall out of it. That's crazy.
Apparently, there were all kinds of slides and tubes.
Many slides. That's the one thing that always stands out to me when I watch the movies now that I realize is different. Like, it's one of those things. You know, there's a couple times where you see an X-Wing and you're like, that wasn't in the original. That's a new CGI from 1998. But when they're in Cloud City, Bespin, they're walking around. I remember originally they were just in hallways. And they went in and like added windows with like a view on every scene.
Yep.
And like, so now when I watch it, I'm like, that used to just be a wall. Like, that stands out to me. But
But that was all it needed.
Yeah.
It worked just fine.
But it was-
as a hallway with a wall.
I think that was the coolest. I mean, Hoth is pretty cool, but it's...
Can you guys hear my dog drinking water? Jesus
giggling.
Christ.
That's me after a long night of drinking beers.
All right.
She's full.
Back to it.
So, best planet, best city, best location. Bespin.
Bespin's pretty cool.
Specifically, the chamber where they fought, where they had just
That was pretty cool.
put him in the. That's such a weird. Like, why wouldn't you have that brightly lit? You're doing industrial stuff in there. There's no lights. It's got to be all
probably
dramatic.
like the Bespin equivalent of the HVAC room.
Yeah.
You know, the only
There's no light switch. It's like
the
it's
Ungets.
illuminated
Only
by
the Ungets are the only ones that work in there, and they don't need light.
the little orange lights under all the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all that lit that room up.
I'm thinking it's because they had the overhead house lights turned off, and those were the safety lights.
Oh, maybe so. I also thought it was funny today on rewatch when like Luke like jumps up and grabs a hose, and Vader's like, impressive. Like I'm like, he just jumped up. He just jumped. You're like, oh, pretty good Jedi.
That was his dad, just like
He's
cheering
just
him
like,
on.
attaboy.
Oh, all right, you do have a little bit of the sauce.
Look at you
let's see.
jumping.
Look at him go. I know
6
that
days
move.
with Yoda and you can jump.
I'm gonna go to hell.
Hey, you ever met any sand people?
Once. I think Hoth should be on the list.
Yeah,
That's a pretty damn cool sequence.
yeah.
But I would say the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon is by far more of a character in this movie because of the hyperdrive not working. And, you know, of course it's 3 times, and on the 3rd time it finally works there at the very end. But
And it's also like the thing that connects him to Lando.
Yep.
That brings them together again.
And so I think the Falcon on the asteroid specifically is probably one of my favorite locations in this movie. What are the name of the Minox, right? The Minox were
That fly by
the bat-like things that were...
and then turns out they're inside the big dick monster.
Oh, yeah. Old Dick Monster. Hey, that's the
Old
old...
Dick Monster.
Right.
Good old dick monster.
We'll get back to the who's got the biggest dong question.
I think we can address it now.
Might as well.
It's that
I brought
thing.
it up.
It's that thing.
But is it that thing or is it the asteroid? And is that thing the asteroid's thing?
No, that thing lives in an asteroid.
So, but it's just a dong in an asteroid?
Well, no, but it has a giant dong.
So we just didn't see it.
Yeah.
But it looks like a dong. Okay.
Yeah, it's shaped like a dong.
So it's a thing that looks like a dick with a mouth.
Yeah.
That has a dick. as
Yeah.
well.
That
Yeah.
we didn't see.
Gotcha.
And I bet its dick also has a mouth.
It's dick mouth all the way down.
And then its dick has a little dick under it, and it's got a little mouth. Yeah, just all the way down. Dick after dick.
Another creation brought to you by H.R.
Biggest
Geiger.
dong. Why don't I just have biggest dong written down on here so I'll always remember? Best ship. There's a
Falcon.
Yeah, there's 2
The Millennium
choices.
Falcon
It's either that
or
the-
Slave One.
Oh, Slave One's in this movie, and then the Super Star Destroyer.
The AT-ATs are also pretty badass.
Yeah, Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
We can't just have the same answer all the time.
We
Then
can't.
Slave
It's our
One.
fucking podcast.
I do what I want.
Best chase. And so we've got the going through the asteroids is really the only like chase scene in this movie.
Escaping the asteroid's dong,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, same scene.
Oh. Is that the beginning? That's the beginning of the scene.
Yeah,
You mean the one that looks like it's got a mouth?
yeah, that one.
Is that really the only chase?
Yeah,
Is there a chase? Like, isn't there a bit of a foot game where they're trying to chase Boba Fett and Han and Carbonite?
I mean, not really. They kind of fight their way across Bespin or whatever, like shooting from doorways, but it's not really. I'm thinking, I mean, chase, like
Like a sequence.
Star Wars has a specific, like, we're going way too fast to not be hitting all this stuff. Chase.
Then I guess you're right.
That always goes through a canyon somehow, goes through another ship somehow. It goes through the
between
woods,
teeth.
between the teeth.
Yeah.
Like, it's an impossible. And so that's
That's the only one.
that's what we got in this one. Best fight. We also only have one duel in this, and that's Vader and Luke.
You only need to have that one duel.
It's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But going back to the Dagobah Cave of Wonder sequence, you get a little pre-taste, right? You get a little sneak peek of what it's like for Luke to stand
little
off and
sneaky
get
snack.
a little snack, right? And
Yeah.
then Luke, you know, dashes that Ghost Vader's mask off,
Yeah.
which apparently is Obi-Wan's technique for defeating Vader, right? Anyway,
They found another squeaky toy.
They did.
I immediately looked at the counter to see if he got it off the counter. If she got it off the counter.
But it also had me thinking, like, if you go back to your 1981 brain, this was only the second lightsaber duel you've ever seen in your whole life.
Well, the first one wasn't really much of a duel.
And the first one, yeah. But back then you didn't know it. You were like, oh, that's how you fight with those.
Four-year-old brain was blown away.
So compared to that one, this one is nutso. This one is wild. They're running around the room and jumping off of stuff.
Vader's throwing boxes at him.
But I still believe that, yeah, Vader would have ended it in 10 seconds if he wanted to.
Right.
And we know that now. That's his boy. So he didn't. Best shot of the movie? There's one scene where he is flying the Falcon and he goes between the two Star Destroyers and kind of tricks them into like flying towards each other, and they're like, take evasive action.
That's right.
And they have to like, and there's like that one shot with like three of them like coming together.
One of the shots, I mentioned this earlier, was when Luke walks into that room upstairs in the AC room.
Yeah, in the HVAC unit.
The HVAC unit. And Vader's just standing there on top of those stairs with the fucking orange lights on the stairs.
Yeah.
Like
That's probably the best scene.
That's cool.
Best shot.
That shot is very well done. And then another one that was cool too was when Yoda was talking to Force Ben after Luke has left. Ben disappears in the back corner and the light changes from where the ship is flying over him. It's just on Yoda. There is another.
That is very cool.
That's pretty cool.
And then they cut out the line when Obi-Wan Kenobi was like, there are more than just one. There are like a lot of other people. We should go talk to them.
Ahsoka just chilling.
We hope. Oh, yeah, she is. Absolutely.
She is totally chilling.
Hell yeah, she is.
What's the best use of the Force in this movie?
When Vader throws the box of chicken nuggets at Luke.
That particular part of the fight where he's just standing there and he's like, oh, and there's like things just hitting him. It's a little silly, that part. Another hot take.
Sure.
But I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know. Hit him in the face with it. Why are you hitting him in the back?
With the hot shit.
With the hot shit. You know, they're slapping him with the hot mops.
Choking a man through a screen is pretty good use of the Force.
Yeah.
Across the galaxy, as you said.
Yoda lifting the X-Wing out of the mud was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool sequence. That's a good use of the Force.
Yeah, that's probably the best one because we had seen him choke people. I guess that's it. Yeah. There's that one time that he's frozen upside down and he grabs his lightsaber out of the snow, and that's the first time that you're like, oh, he can do stuff now. Good for him. And I did pause it, and you can see where it says "Made in New York" on the bottom of that hill when it's in the stuck in the snow.
The strobe from the camera.
Best toy from this.
Dagobah set.
AT-AT.
I definitely had the Dagobah set with the little
Foam
that you could stick him through so he gets stuck in there. I had a Tauntaun that had a hole in the bottom. I had
that one too,
so you can stick him inside.
You see a theme?
Which means your toy is dead. And you're using his carcass to keep warm.
And I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
They recreated that for the children in the toys. That's crazy. This is from them. This is Wampa, from 1981.
Wow.
It's like one of my only toys I have from them, but I have more, but they're all more recent. The AT-AT.
I liked as a toy, I liked the snow speeders. Remember when you push the button, the guns would light up, and it had that patented Star Wars buzzing sound, which apparently signified all of the laser sound effects.
It had the tow cable.
I like that one.
That one was in our house. We had the Hoth playset in our house.
I didn't have Hoth.
I didn't have a Hoth playset, but what I would do is anytime my dad got like a stereo equipment or anything that came with styrofoam, I would turn that styrofoam into a Hoth playset. And then I learned the hard way what happens when you hit it with spray paint.
Does it melt? and
That's why my
poison
brain
you?
doesn't work right.
You pass out for 3 days.
And that was the 80s, and my parents were like, just roll them around. It'll be all right.
How are the special effects in this movie? Pretty good.
I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, they still hold
Yeah,
up.
nothing bothered me. Even, like we said, Puppet Yoda.
And of all of the 3 original films that got the re-release special treatment, this one had the lightest touch. It was just apparently the hallway sequences. Most of the changes were in Bespin, adding a few more CG escort vehicles when they're approaching Cloud City. That's about it, right?
Yeah, because otherwise I can't think of anything they would have changed. I mean,
they might have cleaned up some matte lines here and there, but as far as like new scenes, there were no new scenes.
I do feel like the snow speeders attacking the AT-ATs originally, I feel like it looks a lot cleaner now than it used to. There used to be a lot of lines, and you can tell when it's a model and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think some of that's
to round
changed.
up the goddamn VHS.
I want to see those again.
I've got them somewhere.
I want to watch them again because I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't really remember what this was like before they fixed them, and I want to know.
All right, what's next?
How woke is this movie? There's nothing like super racist going on in this movie, I don't think. Incest, but that's not. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
So look, when they made this movie, he had already sat down. Like I know in the first one, we give him a lot of leeway. We're like, he didn't know the whole thing yet.
He was winging it.
He didn't think he was going to get to make more. So he didn't invent the whole story, just enough for this movie. But now when he made this one,
Oh, they knew
on
they
day
were.
one,
They knew
he
they
knew
were
that was
making-
brother and sister, and they were
Yeah.
still making them kiss.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all I'm saying. Fan service. I mean, this is too early to be any kind of fan service. If there's any fan service, it might be that they made Han like the star, because probably after the
Because
first
of
one, they were like, I love
and
him.
Indiana Jones.
And Indiana Jones,
Raiders
yeah.
of the Lost Ark, yeah.
And he wanted to die.
He did.
He thought Han should be killed off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why they left it the end like this, because they were like, maybe he died, right? But then they made the third one and he came back. Am I making that up?
No, that tracks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Put one F-bomb in this movie.
Is it when Luke watches Yoda eat his snacky cake? And he's like, fuck. Come on, man.
That's my fucking dinner.
It's my fucking sweet nougat.
Or is it when he's
Maybe.
hanging there after he just got his hand cut off and he's like, I'm your father. He's like, no. He just goes, fuck.
Or what about when he's on Dagobah and he goes into the Cave of Wonders and Vader comes walking out and Luke goes, fuck this.
I think it might be that. It was the delivery that sold me.
My only other suggestion would be Yoda says, when he says, no, there is another. And then Obi-Wan says, fuck you mean? There's another. Don't be cryptic, bro. It's just you and me.
The whole time?
Who are you talking about? Because I was really putting all my eggs in the Luke basket.
I did just call this motherfucker our only hope.
That's what you had to call him because the poster said so.
Right? All right, that's all for
That's all for round two.
Force Lightning round.
Boom.
We'll take a quick break.
Commercial break. Boom.
Hey, do you love jizz? Do you spend your afternoons in a cantina drinking blue milk and listening to jizz? Do you like Max Rebo, the Galactic Jizz Whalers? Catch a speeder to Tatooine and take your lady to Jabba's palace. Let some of our fresh, hot jizz wash over you.
And go.
And begin. Welcome back.
Hello there.
Part 3. Stage 3? What do we call this?
Part 3.
I don't know.
Round 3. Round 3.
Round 3.
Round 3 of
Seg 3.
episode 44 of us talking about episode 5, which is actually
The 7th.
the 7th movie the way we're doing it, but the second movie the way they came out.
Correct.
All right, so we're getting nerdy. With
Diagram that sentence.
Clearly, we are now ready to get nerdy with it. This is
We were holding back before.
we were being very normal before.
Oh, this is called Let's Get Nerdy with It.
Let's get nerdy with it. We're just opening it up here. What do you want to talk about? Let's go deep into some stupid stuff.
What you got?
So when he's
Okay.
when Luke's leaving and Yoda's talking to, we've discussed Yoda, and he says there's another. Before that, he's talking to Obi-Wan's ghost, and he says now matters are worse. Now that Luke is leaving, those two guys have a plan.
Yeah.
Based on that line alone, the two of them are like, we got to go. You got to go and get Luke, and you got to do this. Like, they're orchestrating shit from a swamp. That's all. Nothing happens in this movie that disproves my theory that all of this is a plan by like three of the main characters that we don't ever know about. That's all I'm saying.
Yoda, Kenobi, and
Kenobi, Vader, and Leia are all together to take down the Emperor.
I like this theory. We should explore it more, perhaps in a mini cast.
I feel like we've done like too many episodes on my theory.
That's okay.
It's not catching on though. Nobody cares about it, but
They'll work
it's
through
real. What else you got? Nerdy ideas, questions.
There's usually some questions.
This is-
One of
if-
you
is
just
there a-
asked the question about why the android worm monster. What's his purpose?
Oh.
And my answer to that.
Let me actually
Go.
hold on.
Do it.
Let me write down from my notes specifically. I said asteroid monster. What's his plan?
I think he's involved at some level with the space whales. And perhaps their mating rituals.
Oh shit!
Eh?
The only thing in the universe with a bigger dong
Than an asteroid.
worm
It's a space
is a
whale.
Purgle?
Purgle.
Space whale.
They got
That's all I
dongles.
got. Yeah.
So they
Purgle's
just-
got dongles.
Sure.
So they just hang out with them, and they're like a matchmaker for Purgles or something. You're saying?
yeah.
I'm just saying, how often does that thing get to eat something? Because it lives in the middle of space, and the one time we know of that a ship landed in it, it just sat there until it flew away. Like, dude,
It's a vegetarian.
how often are you going to get a ship land in your mouth?
Who wants to eat a ship?
That's what
Perhaps
else?
it just eats space dust.
What else is he eating? He lives in space.
The Falcon was not very big.
He doesn't even get to breathe.
contrast to that thing. So that was like a little snicky snack.
Yeah.
I don't think it eats. I think it eats like space dust. It's David
Like-
Bowie in space.
Plankton.
Yeah, space plankton.
Plankton.
You know what? It eats midichlorians.
Fuck, there's whales out there. I bet there are plankton out there.
Why not?
Midichlorians.
Are there any how to hills? That was the question.
How the hell the Millennium Falcon going to find Luke on the bottom of Bespin? Like the first time I saw that as a 6-year-old, I was like, wait a minute.
That's convenient.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it's pretty lucky that he falls down that bottomless shaft, but in a way that sucks him into the water slide part.
That then allows him to fall out of Cloud City in such a way that he's allowed to hook
Yeah.
the antenna and hang upside down just in time for the Falcon to find him.
Does that happen to Yoda? Where does he drop into a ship from when in Sith, when he just fought with the Emperor
Oh, yeah.
in the Senate, and then he's like hiding through the ducts, and then he like does
Like John McClane in Die Hard?
Yeah. He's like, come to Coruscant, have a good time. But I think he does the same thing where like he ends up out of the bottom of something, and then the dude from LA Law pulls up and he drops right into his little convertible. You all know what I mean.
That's convenient.
That's right. And then Jimmy Smits is like,
That's him.
where are you going? And Yoda's like, into hiding, I must go.
Yeah.
Take me to the swamp planet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he's like, you want to just come to Alderaan and live in the closet? And he's
And
like,
Yoda's
no.
like, no, I do not.
He's like, the future
And-
is hard to see, but I am not going to Alderaan.
But I know I'm not going to Alderaan. And Jimmy Smith is like, why? What do you see? And he's like,
He's like, that's my house. What are you talking about?
nothing. Just, you know,
No, man. Just
I
go
really
on.
appreciate you and your whole family.
I ain't never
and
liked
your
Alderaan.
town. I love everyone on Alderaan. Thank you for your service.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yes, you do.
Bad feeling I have.
Indigestion I have.
Also,
Why do we eat so many chicken wings?
Also playing into my little theory is that when we meet Yoda, he showcases very clearly their first reflex is just to lie when they meet a person. He's like, oh, you're looking for Yoda? Huh, I'll help you find him. He takes him all the way to his house, and he's like, yeah, Yoda's close. Like, just say you're Yoda. But they don't. They always act like, oh, I know him because he's me. Like, they always got to act like for a
I
minute.
know
Like,
him because he is me.
Yeah.
And I is we, and here we go.
so
He is
you know,
I and I am him. Slim with the tilted brim.
There it is.
What's my motherfucking name?
Yoda.
They have dinner with Darth Vader.
That's true. There's a
He
nice...
takes his gun away and he's like, come have a seat. I'd like to talk to
Let's
you.
have some Boston Market.
Yeah, he's like, sit down.
We got mashed potatoes with gravy, some sweet cornbread, some unsweetened tea. It was a confused menu.
It was very
It
good.
was a confused menu.
Hey, that chicken was good, though. Them quarter dark chickens from Boston Market was the shit.
That's why
Their
Vader had it served.
cornbread was like cake in that
Yeah.
place.
It was frosting and little
just
candles
cake.
called birthday cake.
Yeah. So what do they talk about? He's like, sit down. Oh, they're serving the soup. Listen, I'm going to really torture you in a minute.
Have some minestrone.
Right, the minestrone.
It's an awkward dinner. It's an awkward meal. And then it ends with torture.
Especially when Vader's just like eating his meal the way Mando does in that one episode in the first season of Mandalorian where he's just like
Sticking
taking
it
his
up under
soup
there.
under his fucking helmet.
How does he eat? We do get to see in this movie the back of his naked head for a second.
And this is the first movie that we get to see the Emperor
Yep.
in the original trilogy.
Yep. Well, still in this one. They didn't add him to the first one.
No, but like in the prequels. He's all over the prequels.
Oh, yes. I see
And
what you're
apparently in the last one, because somehow he returned.
Somehow he returns.
Somehow.
Because everything that happened in this trilogy was for nothing,
Right.
turns out. Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
So we're on the Star Destroyer. Vader has called all of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, and they're all standing there lined up.
IG-88.
They're all there.
Right?
Bosh.
Bosch.
And he's like, notice integrations, I want them alive. And all that. And then, like, they all, whatever, spread out. But Boba Fett's the only one that's like, well, they're here. I'm just going to follow him. So he, like, wins. He finds them, and he gets to bring him back to... But then, does he get paid by the Empire for that? Because once they're at Bespin and he's like, I'm going to put him in carbonite, he's like, hey, don't kill him. He's worthless to me if you kill him. And then he's like, we'll pay you if he kills him. Like, are you not paying him anyway? You hired him. Like, he came to your ship. He found Han for you. You wouldn't know that they were going to Bespin without. So the Empire and Vader owe Boba Fett for his work, and I just want to make sure that he's paid for it, not just you get to keep
But
his
Boba's
frozen body.
also works for Jabba.
I was going to
Boba's
say
trying-
Bubba's recovering that for Jabba,
Right.
but he did the job for the Empire.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have been like greased a little bit, but remember the way Vader does business. You know, I altered the deal, pray I don't alter it further. Right?
Fucking Trump.
Yes.
God damn. He's everywhere.
I'm not going to pay this bill.
Right. Why pay it?
Also, I've had this question before, and maybe you've answered it before, but it wasn't good enough, so I don't remember it. But when he's like, we're gonna hide right here. Before they take off, they always dump their trash, and we'll just slide away with it. And sure enough, they're about to leave. They open up the butthole on the back of the ship, and a bunch of giant pieces of like metal, like just mangled, like machinery, like just piles of it come out of there. It really looks like poop coming from this machine, but it's like, what are they doing on a Death Star? I mean, on a Star Destroyer, like in one trip, where they're like, oh, do we have any garbage to get rid of? Yeah, I totally remodeled the whole East Wing, and I got like 57,000 tons of equipment that we've replaced, and we need to destroy and get rid of all this other garbage. There's so much stuff.
Here's a macabre answer. That is what's left over after they capture ships and people who are, fleeing from the Empire, and they capture them with the tractor beam and they torture them, and that's what's left over.
There's like a compactor and stuff in there, like a junkyard. That's a really good answer.
I like your idea better that they were putting in a new IMAX theater inside Vader's Star Destroyer, Super Star Destroyer.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, they built a
Vader
clubhouse.
got a clubhouse. Vader does have a clubhouse in this movie.
He do. It's for him, though. He don't bring the homies to it.
He don't have any homies. He's lonely because he's an asshole.
Yeah, I bet when the bounty hunters were there, he was like, before you go...
You guys want to come see my fort?
Anybody want to play some Mario Kart or anything?
Anybody want to play some Bikino?
I got a fridge stocked with fucking Monsters energy drinks.
Look at some Mountain Dew.
It's going down.
And then it cuts to Boba Fett and IG-88, and they're playing rock, paper, scissors to see who has to go hang out with Vader.
All I can think about is that video of that kid in his room. He's like got a controller in his hand. He's talking to his friend. Have y'all seen this? He's like, dude, I got a girlfriend. I'm playing Fortnite. I got snacks. It's going down.
That's that Vader life.
You grab that confidence where you can, little guy.
All right. What else? Nerdy things.
Let's talk about is it the Ungits? Is that, what are they?
Ugnaughts.
What was Ugnaughts? The Ugnaughts. That's right. The Ungit is like a block of ore.
That dude,
Queel.
Was he one of them, kind of?
He was an Ugnaught, and it was kind of hinted that he was working in service for the Empire. Well, it wasn't hinted at that, but that he may have been one of the Ugnaughts that we've seen before.
At Bespin.
Yeah. But yeah, Queel was one of my favorite characters from that from the Mandalorian. He was awesome. I have spoken.
I'm gonna just start saying that shit.
This is the way.
I have spoken.
Yeah, I dug him. The guys with the implants going around their heads.
Uh-huh.
I believe those are cochlear implants.
This is just hearing impaired, fellas.
I'm not even going to make the joke. It's not even good.
I did totally notice the dude with the like ice cream maker thing running past when they're evacuating. I was like,
I looked for it this time.
But isn't that the same thing that they used to bring the Imperial credits in the first season of Mandalorian that Herzog is? So it's like he was running away with like a shit ton of money is what he was doing.
But for 40 years, everybody was like, that guy's just got an ice cream maker. They didn't make
He
anything.
has some homemade peach ice cream. This shit took all day to make.
It's hard to get ice cream on.
It's hard to get fresh peaches on a gas planet, right?
Where's the cattle? Where's the milk coming from?
Mirk.
Meow.
Is there ice cream blue?
Probably.
It's got to be right.
Mm-hmm. These are the hard hitting questions.
The hardest
round
the
3.
hardest of hitting questions.
Is that all we got?
I think that's all we got. I was going to say something about the is it the Wampa? Is that right? Mm-hmm. So remember in the 3rd season of Mandalorian, or might have been the 2nd one, when Grogu and Mando crash on that ice planet, and there's that big spider, right? Apparently that...
And he's eating the frogs, eggs the whole time?
Yes, that's when they pick up the frog lady. But apparently that ice spider was Ralph McQuarrie's design for the monster on Hoth.
Oh.
Yeah. But they were like, that's going to cost too much money.
They're like, this is a $30 million movie.
Right. Let's just put...
How much do they spend on an episode of Mando? $30 million? $30 million?
No, not that much, but still.
Millions.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know, because it's probably like $200 million for like a 10-episode season, right? Something like that.
Well, they spent... It was advertised loudly that they spent $180 million on Acolyte, which I do not know where that went, but...
Do they have the fart monsters?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember what show is what anymore.
How do
What
we?
was the one where you hit the guy with this, and then he was just a suit full of farts?
Oh yeah, that was Ahsoka.
Yeah. It was?
It was.
Oh.
What was his name? Like Maldoc or Modoc? No,
Some
Modoc's
shit like
the
that.
dude, the floating head from Ant-Man. Quantum Mania.
Yeah, Modoc.
That was not good.
No.
So I guess that's it.
I think
have
that's
spoken.
all. Yeah.
We have spoken.
This is the way. You got any boilerplate or are we out?
No, that's yeah.
This is the last podcast. No, there is another.
No, there is another. I fucked up. I thought he was dumping me. I was like, wait a minute, you put me on the spot. We should have talked about this beforehand. Bye, everybody.
It just popped into my head. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.